Hello everybody, and welcome to today's special programs which we are going to do for Lent. I'm in a church here called Divine Mercy, and of course, like any other Catholic church, we've got the Stations of the Cross on the walls. There are 14 usually, but a lot of churches nowadays put in a 15th station, which is indicating the resurrection of Jesus from the dead. Very important part of our faith. This will be a series of programs maybe helping you to have a different perspective on each station. We won't be going traditionally through them, although we will follow a quick sequence at the end. But just a quick little history about the Stations of the Cross. In the 14th century, the Franciscans visiting the Holy Land came up with this idea of having images and pictures to remind us of the last day of Jesus' life, beginning with his being condemned to death. The stations depict a journey for Jesus to Calvary, and there the final stage is when he is crucified and after 3 hours dies on the cross. Now, what does this mean for us? We can look at the stations not with pity. Pope Francis said that. We don't look at the stations with pity on Jesus, although we are remembering a horrific time in his life, of course. But that is not the meaning. Pope Francis said, be with Jesus in his suffering. It's about his sufferings and our sufferings. Jesus came to be at one with us in our sufferings in life. Everyone goes through a certain amount of suffering and isolation in suffering, because we are alone in our sufferings. But we're not alone, because Jesus came to say, I'm with you. And of course, the biggest indicator of Jesus being with us was the time when he shouted out of desperation, my God, why have you forsaken me? Imagine God himself realizing how distant he himself can be seemingly from us in our sufferings. And Jesus said those words, I believe, because he felt the distance, the isolation from his Father, but the closeness with us in our sufferings. Many people will say, this makes no sense. I have a condition. I have financial problems. I have relationship problems. What am I to do? Your friend is in Jesus. So during this time, we can say, why do we have to suffer? Why did Jesus walk with us in our sufferings and his sufferings as well? To give meaning. And the meaning is love. It's all an act of love. And we can transform our suffering and sufferings into an act of love. I knew a very close friend who died of cancer, and she said to me before she died, "I give all my sufferings so that sinners may be converted." She gave meaning to her suffering. She did it out of love for Jesus and also for our fellow human beings. What a great way to do so. Now, this is not easy, of course, and there is spiritual loss and isolation, and there is also desperation. There is also a desire even to give up and end it all. And if you remember, Pope John Paul II stayed with us till the Lord called him. And some people said, why doesn't he resign? Why is he still staying on? But 'twas to teach us a lesson. There is a value in suffering. A very hard thing to say to people, of course, who are suffering, but there is a value. And we know from psychology that there are stages of acceptance. The final thing is to accept our sufferings and, in fact, to embrace them, to embrace the cross, as we say, to embrace our crosses gladly. I'm saying this, and I and all of you listening will be challenged to do so. But we do know that it is in accepting and giving over that we find new life, and that we will be able to endure, and above all, to know the love and closeness of Jesus with us. I will finish now with the first three stations. First station, Jesus is condemned to death. We adore thee, O Christ, and we praise thee, for by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. O sweet Jesus, who for the love of me bore the cross to Calvary, in your mercy grant me to suffer and to die with thee. Amen. Second station, Jesus was given his cross, which he accepted for love of us. We adore thee, O Christ, and we praise thee, because by your cross you have redeemed the world. O sweet Jesus, who for the love of me bore your cross to Calvary, in your mercy grant me to suffer and to die with thee. Amen. Jesus falls for the first time. We adore thee, O Christ, and we praise thee, because by your cross you have redeemed the world. O sweet Jesus, who for the love of me did bear the cross to Calvary, in your great mercy help me to suffer and to die with thee. Amen.